I like the challenge of when things don't work, but I also hate failure. I like when things don't work, but then I can solve the problem and make it better. When things don't work consistently, it's problematic for me. It's been a few weeks since my last chocolate banana bread. I think I've made it 3 times so far, and every time I've tweaked a little something in the formula to try and make it perfect. All results were edible. Let's start there. They were all delicious. Everybody loved every version. Sorry, my cat's meowing in the background. Every banana bread was delicious. Everybody enjoyed them. I was trying to tweak the amount of banana in the formula because my first banana bread collapsed when I took it out of the oven, which to me meant there was too much moisture in it. Now, of course, maybe I didn't bake it to a high enough temperature. I baked it to an internal temperature of about probably 205 Fahrenheit. It's pretty good. It's maybe a little underbaked on the bottom, but not bad. This gummy layer on the bottom. Wonder if it means that I need more than just baking powder as a leavening agent in this banana bread recipe. Or am I using too much banana? So the second one I baked with slightly less banana, just about 30-40 grams less really, which is not a huge difference. I baked it again to the internal temperature of 205. I still had a bit of an underbaked layer on the bottom. I think there's actually too much banana in my recipe. So for the third banana bread, I dropped the banana significantly to 250 grams of mashed banana. And I baked it to an internal temperature of 209 degrees Fahrenheit because in the book Bakewise, Shirley Corriher, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing her name right, but she mentions that the internal temperature of banana bread is 209 Fahrenheit. So I pushed it, kept baking to 209. I took it out. That banana bread was baked through. It's pretty good. But I felt it was a little bit dry, just a little bit. So now my fourth iteration, I'm going to try it again with 300 grams of banana, same recipe, but I'm also going to change one other element, and that is the leavening agents I use. For all 3 tests so far, I used only baking powder, which should work fine in theory, but I found that the sliced cake inside, the chocolate color, the brown was a little bit light. And to me, that means it's a pH issue, that the pH is more acidic than basic. So I'm going to try my formula with slightly more banana, but not too much, and a little bit of baking soda along with the baking powder to see if that makes a difference. And hopefully, this will be the last chocolate banana bread I make. Oh, and I'm going to put chocolate chips because the first one didn't have chocolate chips and I felt like it needed. So we're sticking with the chocolate chips. I've got some really ripe bananas here, kitchen scale and a measuring cup because I want to see what the volume is of 300 grams of banana just for when I'm writing up the recipe later. So one banana is 112 grams. I think most banana bread recipes call for 3 bananas, but I mean, these bananas vary in size so greatly. That could really mean anything, which is why I am weighing them. So let's mash them. It's a cup and a quarter roughly. I mean, it works out to 300 mils, it seems pretty much spot on. Okay, let's move on. I'm going to cream my butter and sugar as usual. So the color of cocoa really changes with pH. So it'll become redder and lighter if it's more acidic. It'll be a darker brown, even black if it's basic. That's how Dutch processing works and changes the color and the flavor too. I'm sifting my cocoa powder as usual to remove the lumps, because whenever I don't sift, I regret it. Add the salt after sifting because the crystals are too large and they don't pass through the sifter. I sift first, add salt after. Sometimes I forget and then I just transfer from sifter back to bowl. Give this a whisk because clearly the cocoa is not mixed with the flour. I'm going to crack the 2-in-1 container, but add them one at a time. I feel like I'm always scraping down the sides of the bowl on the beater. Time to add the dry ingredients and the mashed banana. So I'm going to add the dry ingredients, alternating with the mashed banana, beginning and ending with dry. Last of the dry. The chips. I'm going to scrape off the paddle, give it a last stir by hand with my spatula, and then transfer to my 9x5 loaf pan. I've already buttered the pan and lined the bottom with parchment. Here's a trick I learned in pastry school. You can take a bench scraper and oil the surface, and then use that to force the loaf to crack at a specific place as opposed to at random. I'll show you how. So you basically insert right down the middle of the cake batter and lift. Okay, we're only at 202, 205 on the ends, 209 on that end. Let me give it like 5 more minutes, just to be sure. Let's check again. Yes. Yes. She's done. It's the moment of truth. This banana bread has cooled for 3 hours. It's time to cut it. I'm so excited. She's baked. Pretty good. Let's do one more slice. Perfect. The color's still light, so my baking soda did not solve the problem with the color. But at least it's baked through. I can't wait. So the texture is soft. It's definitely baked through. It's a better texture than the previous one with less banana. It's delicious. It only took 4 tries to get this banana bread right. That's not bad. I've done worse. It's a good thing bananas are really cheap. So my hypothesis about the baking soda and the color of the inside of the cake, I don't think it was quite right. I'm going to compare photos from each test, especially to compare this baking soda version to the ones without, to see if it's at all darker. Technically, when you're testing a recipe and you're comparing 2 versions, you should only change 1 variable at a time. In this case, I actually changed 3 variables, which is not very scientific of me. I changed the amount of banana, increasing it to 300 grams. I added baking soda to this cake batter, and I baked it to 209 degrees Fahrenheit instead of 205. So now the question is, which one of those variables actually made the recipe better? That I can't say. Okay, so it's been 2 days since that perfect chocolate banana bread, and I made another one. Because I felt bad about the baking soda and the fact that I had changed too many variables, and I wondered if the baking soda was actually important in the recipe, or maybe I could skip it in the formula and just have baking powder. So I baked one more. So I baked one without the baking soda with the same amount of banana, baking to 209 Fahrenheit on the thermometer to make sure the internal temperature was reached and that it would be baked through. Because I just wanted to know, is the baking soda actually important? When I took it out of the oven, it collapsed a little bit, which I was really surprised about, I gotta say. So we're gonna cut into it and see what happens. So this actually looks really good. This is the chocolate banana bread without baking soda. So leavened just with baking powder. And as we can see, it's pretty much baked through. It's maybe slightly underbaked based on what's happening at the bottom and the fact that I saw that it collapsed, but I'm really surprised. It's still really good. I think I would keep the baking soda just because I think it took slightly less time to bake when the recipe had baking soda. It held its rise better. I think the texture was slightly better with the baking soda too. So I don't think the baking soda is essential, but I think it's slightly better with it. At least now I feel better that I covered all the bases, that I tested different amounts of banana. I tested with or without baking soda. And I tested different internal temperatures. And I found the perfect formula. Okay, well, it's perfect for me. You might have a different opinion on it. You're just gonna have to bake it and tell me. I've baked 5 of these now. Seems a little excessive, doesn't it, for banana bread? But I guess not. You'd think I'd be bored of this, but I'm not. It's delicious. What's one more chocolate banana bread anyways? I did it for science. It wasn't just because I wanted another chocolate banana bread.